And now for our next guest, we have with us Mr. Raheem Veal. Raheem is the CEO and founder of Razor Sharp Global. Welcome to the show, Raheem.
Good morning, sir. Great to see you.
Hey, great to see you. I was just sharing with our producer that I remember this young man as a neighbor, but he was much shorter then.
Yeah, it's been a little minute since then, but these are great circumstances to see you again, sir.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely. So it's great to have you on the show. So before we get started, I'm going to share a little bit of your bio here. So Raheem Veal is a leadership and brand strategist whose work spans classrooms, boardrooms, and community spaces. As founder of Razor Sharp Global, his vision is to impact the talent pipeline from middle school students to senior executives by equipping leaders at every stage to tell their stories with clarity and confidence. He believes storytelling is one of the most powerful tools for transformation, and his campaigns have shaped brands like HBO, Paramount, BET, and Nickelodeon. He most recently served as Senior Director of Marketing for Foundation Academies, where he fused strategy with student empowerment. With over a decade of experience coaching across diverse settings, Raheem helps organizations and individuals convert authentic narratives into tangible opportunities that drive growth, elevate presence, and expand impact. That is awesome, Raheem.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a great journey. Just getting started.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit, tell the audience a little bit about, where you're from, your family, where you grew up, some of those things.
Yes, sir. So I'm proud to be from Trenton, New Jersey. I was born in Camden, but I'm from Trenton, New Jersey. Was raised here by my grandmother, Janine LaRue, who is a legend and icon in the state for her work. But what I'm most thankful for that she instilled in me and my family was service and to have strong faith and values. And those are the things I carry with me to this day. She brought us to Mount Zion AME Church as soon as we moved to Trenton. And at Mount Zion AME was where I actually learned how to tie a tie when I was 11 years old. And that was a formative moment for me that shifted my self-image and let me know that I could be a leader, a CEO, or maybe even greater one day.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about your story as it relates to you've held some senior roles at big brands. What inspired you to step out and build Razor Sharp Global?
Honestly, I'm such a faith-driven person just because of the journey God has taken me on. And to be honest, I was comfortable in the media entertainment space for a while. Mm-hmm. And I was, of course, working with HBO, BET, some of these great brands, and enjoying the content-driven storytelling, the lifestyle of it. But God really pushed me in a different direction by way of a period of unemployment after my contracts ended. And he really shifted my gears and brought me back to Trenton to serve and to reinvest in the promise that's here in Trenton. I actually was, in the roles. I was looking around for partners to start my company last summer, and one of the partners that I looked at actually flagged me to come and work at their organization in marketing. So God redirected me away from media and entertainment as my main course, and made education, mentorship, volunteering, just service and storytelling my main course afterwards. I had been coaching some of my colleagues, classmates, and mentors pro bono for years, and I had actually been doing some volunteering at my middle school and other places to bring career days, bring alumni back, teach students how to tie ties, and teach them about empowerment. But it was time for that to move to the forefront, and now this is what Razor Sharp is.
Absolutely. So tell the listeners about the work of Razor Sharp.
Yes. So Razor Sharp, as you mentioned, we're a professional development organization, and we serve the youth through youth programming. So with the youth programming, we'll do identity coaching, we'll do mindset coaching, we'll really help students find their voice and find ways to own their stories and to tell their stories in a way that converts to opportunities. And we do that also for adults, right? Our tagline is actually that we help you find your edge and leverage it for success and fulfillment. So for adults, through our coaching product, we help adults do the same, figure out what their values are, their skill set, figure out who they are and their experiences, and convert that into tangible opportunities and impact. So that can be workshops, that can be programming and courses. It's content as well, digitally. But we, sometimes do one-to-one coaching. We coach institutions. It's a really collaborative process to help unlock people's stories and identities.
Oh, absolutely. That's awesome. So what are some of the principles that drive your work today?
Faith is the biggest one. I'm a really, again, faith-driven person because of what was instilled in me by my family. And as someone who's driven by faith, I believe that working your hardest and really putting out your intentions and your work ethic will get you where you need to go. And who God made you in terms of your identity is critical to your journey. So instead of running from that, instead of trying to cover up the parts of you that you don't want people to see, it's important to lean into your journey and lean into your identity and create currency from that to actually succeed. So that's definitely one of them. And then another one is that confidence is something that isn't always innate, but it can be taught through programming, through workshops, through positive reinforcement, and through community. So I believe in community, I believe in faith, and I believe that a work ethic and a strong value, authentic story can really be a powerful agent for change.
Oh, absolutely. So how did your corporate roles prepare you for what you're doing now?
That's an awesome question. So when I was in these corporations, and obviously these were a lot larger organizations than I've been in for the last few years, I realized that within those organizations, if you have an entrepreneurial mindset, there can be limits if you allow there to be. But I took an entrepreneurial mindset where I was blessed to be able to work at startup type environments within large corporations. For example, at HBO, I worked on the HBO Max multicultural marketing team and program marketing team, which was sort of like a startup within the larger organization. Especially HBO Max was a high growth product at the time. I also had the fortune at Paramount of being part of the inaugural cohort of the Marketing and Ad Sales Rotational Fellowship, which also was a bit of a startup atmosphere, and then BET Plus as well. So this gave me an entrepreneurial mindset that allowed me to go into places to create opportunities, build relationships, and to test out projects and ultimately to lead and drive impact.
No, absolutely. So to some of the younger folks that might be listening and hear your program tonight, talk a little bit about transferable skills, which is what you've intimated, but dig a little deeper into that.
Yes.
So that folks understand how some of what they do can transfer into other areas or industries.
Yes, sir. So in terms of transferable skills, one of them is being collaborative and being a great teammate. That's first. So because I was part of rotational programs, because I was part of cohorts, I got a chance to experience the priorities and day-to-day life in different roles. So now I could develop more empathy, be a better teammate, practice more active listening because I knew what it was like in other people's seats. I also was able to develop a sense of ingenuity so that when things weren't always straightforward and there wasn't always a roadmap, that I could still figure things out and ultimately find the destination. So ingenuity is another one. And then ultimately, again, storytelling is always what I go back to. And I believe a great story is composed of knowing the why behind it, knowing the who behind it, and knowing the how, right? All the other details will fill themselves in, but knowing the real why behind stories is how you can really drive people and drive value.
Right. So what would you say to young folks, especially that might listen to this program and have some trepidation about their own story? How do they take their story and empower themselves to move forward?
Yes, I will get through this as quickly as I can, but I think it's key and critical to this question. I didn't have a straight path through these roles. Obviously, as you can see, I have natural hair and I present myself in a way that I'm proud of, but wasn't always received well up front, right? I'm put together, but there are just certain ways that we can face discrimination in the workplace based on our identity, based on where we come from, etc. But what I learned was that leaning into your identity actually frees up your brain to do better at your job. So when you're not spending time trying to code switch super hard, when you're not trying to think through every word that you're going to say or how you're being received or coming across, when you go there with a professional mindset and confidence in who you are, it actually frees you up to do better at your job, to create more change in the room that you're in, because a monolithic mindset allows things to stay the same. And growth only happens through discomfort, which is when people get outside the comfort zone. So bringing your identity is actually not a hindrance, it's a superpower. And in these corporate rooms, finally, the people who I saw driving change and being leaders and being influential at the table were the quirkiest people. And they were the people who weren't afraid to say things or to show up in a way that was authentic to themselves. So your identity is power.
Oh, absolutely. And your identity helps to break down stereotypes, because sometimes people have a visual of what a marketing executive looks like, right? And then if you don't look like that, but you have the skill set to bring results, then it breaks down that stereotype. So that's awesome. We're coming up on break. We'll take up where we're leaving off here. And we're back with Raheem Veal, the CEO and founder of Razor Sharp Global. So as we get back into this conversation, Raheem, share a little bit about the importance of partnerships and collaborations in the work that you do, and also some of those collaborative experiences you had in the corporate world that you're able to kind of bring into your current work.
So, as explained before, collaboration is key to everything that we do. And part of why it's so key is that learning is really a two-way street. So, for myself as a coach, I don't just learn from elders, I don't just learn from the youth. I learn from both, and I coach both, right? So, when I'm working with the youth, for example, and I'm going to jump really quickly into an experience I had at Trio Upward Bound. I was running a pilot this summer, an original course called Empowered at Trio Upward Bound. And the first day of the course, I asked the students, who here has had a job?
Right.
And nobody raised their hand. Mind you, the course was all about resumes, cover letters, right? That was the original design of the course.
Right.
But I saw on day one that wouldn't suit the needs of this audience.
Right.
And I needed to make sure that I was molding my services to their needs instead of the other way around.
Right.
So that forced me to innovate the way that the course was designed so that I was meeting their needs and they were getting the same skills without the premise that I had in mind.
Right.
So I use that example because collaboration is important to know people's needs so you can actually meet those needs instead of dictating to them what your agenda is. Right? Leadership, collaboration, teammate, it's really all about meeting the needs of different groups, right? And knowing how to balance priorities in a way that makes sure that we all achieve the central goal that we all share, right? So I learned about that, of course, in at HBO and BET, as well as Paramount, because I worked in a project management capacity where I would work with designers, producers, I would work with the sales team, I would work with people who were on the ground and actually executing events. I would work with folks who were holding the cameras for commercials. So in order for us to achieve that central vision, we had to know what everyone's skill set, priorities, and pains were so that we could all get around one table and figure out how to make sure everyone's needs were met and that the end product was something that was impactful. So that is the same mindset that I take to collaborating with community organizations, workforce development, youth organizations and schools, corporations that we work with for some of our pilot programs, right? Any type of storytelling or impact-driven work that we do, it's important to know everyone's needs, priorities, so that we can all achieve the goal together.
Oh, absolutely. And the ability to pivot is key, right? As an entrepreneur.
Oh yes,
right?
Yeah. I mean, and it's really paramount too. It's illustrated in the story I was telling earlier because on day one I had to pivot, right? And as an entrepreneur, if you're not prepared to pivot every day, if you're not prepared to hear no every day, then you won't be able to succeed because ultimately these experiences shape you.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? The discomfort of it, someone guiding you in a different direction, or maybe giving you new information that can steer you closer to what their needs are, can steer you closer to what your audience's needs are, right? So as an entrepreneur, you definitely have to have that resilience, ingenuity, and mindset to roll with the punches.
Oh, absolutely. Well, if you had not rolled with the punches on that day, you would have had a hard time getting resumes done.
Oh, definitely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
I mean, there have been so many times also in corporate, just to expand on that, where a client on the day of a shoot for a commercial, they wanted to change the whole concept, or at events, right? I had events where I was hosting some celebrities, hip hop artists, actors and actresses, and they can be really high maintenance, right? So the day of, you actually have to be able to empathize with them and keep yourself grounded and composed for all the changes that are bound to happen.
Then they're coming with the changes.
Oh yes, every time.
Oh yeah. So tell us a little bit about your service area. Do you currently have a service area that you're focused on?
Yes. So we are based in Trenton. We're based in New Jersey, but we actually have a global reach. Right now, we're in about 2 or 3 states.
Okay.
We have some pilot programs that are working at global organizations, but most of our work right now is currently being done in New Jersey and New York. In New York, we have a pilot that we're launching this fall with a CDL training organization called Drive Forward Academy. That's going to be up in the Bronx, New York. We also have pilots that are working with the Chamber of Commerce itself, the Training and Development Institute, which I'm really excited about, as well as pilots with Reworld, which is a global organization. And then we also have some other development and pilot processes that are, we just want to spend a little more time getting the ink dry, but really excited about those.
Okay, awesome. So are you at liberty to talk a little bit at all about your strategic partnerships that allow you to be able to do work, in other parts of the country, other states?
So what I can speak to is that we have a global vision
Mm-hmm.
for Razor Sharp, which is part of why it's in the name,
Right.
right? So we we're working to create partnerships through fellowship organizations, like companies like Leverage Ed, which is an education fellowship organization. We're working to create partnerships there.
Right.
We're working to create partnerships through different schools and different chains of schools and corporations across the country.
Okay.
So again, it's a little bit vague right now, but we have partnerships, and that's why it's important to identify other leaders who are doing the work.
Right.
Right. We've had the opportunity to be at conferences and be at convenings and to be at expos and to meet other leaders who are doing the work
Right.
across the country.
Right.
And that's really what's powering Razor Sharp.
Absolutely. That's really great. So tell us a little bit about initiatives. Do you have any current initiatives that you're excited about that you want to share with the audience?
Yes, sir. So there's a few. One initiative that I want to share is the one we wrapped up a few weeks ago with Trio Upward Bound. So at Trio Upward Bound, Mercer County,
Mm-hmm.
we did, as I alluded to earlier, the Empowered course, which was a course for high school students
Okay.
over 6 weeks to teach them about personal branding, financial literacy, AI, and how to own their story and advocate for themselves. So we not only taught them about those tangible skills, but we also exposed them to careers, and we taught them how to speak about themselves in ways that was proud, right? And ways that would create opportunities for them to get into fellowships, to get into school and be prepared for career in college. And we taught soft skills like active listening,
Mm-hmm.
right? How to be a leader and how to be assertive, because assertiveness, I believe, is a word that gets a bad rap, especially amongst Black and brown children.
Right.
And we need to be able to tell them that no, assertiveness is actually great to tell someone what your boundaries are,
Right.
and to tell them what your ambitions are. I think that's actually really, really healthy for everyone. So that was something we were excited about. We did a work study for 2 weeks after that with Razor Sharp interns. We also have some pilot programs that are launching over the next 2 weeks. One of those is with the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey's Training and Development Institute.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing some professional development and personal branding training
Okay.
with the re-entry program at the
Okay.
Training and Development Institute.
Yeah.
And then we're also running, again, pilots with the CDL organization I mentioned earlier in the Bronx,
Right.
as well as doing a pilot with the Reworld organization to do some intergenerational learning over there. So we're really, really excited about those, and definitely looking to partner more as the fall and winter comes along.
Okay, excellent. So tell us a little bit about how you tackle this this mindset that people have a little bit of a challenge sometimes talking positively about themselves, and how to get away from thinking of it as bragging versus, like you were saying about assertiveness, being able to share the good things or qualities of yourself to either for a job or for a contract or whatever the case may be.
Yes, this is a key question. So for this one, I'd say that confidence is about knowing what you should and shouldn't own, right? So what you can't own is someone else's feelings about your accomplishments, right? If they feel small, if they feel as though you're bragging and all these other things, or if they feel as though you shouldn't even be where you are.
Right.
We've all encountered situations where someone didn't think we deserved what we earned.
Right.
So you can't own that, right? That's the first step. And then the second step is actually to own what's yours. So that means you have to own the mistakes that you've made.
Right.
You have to own the lessons, but you also have to own your success, which is difficult, especially for underserved groups like women and Black and brown people, because imposter syndrome and things like that can creep in, where you don't feel as though you can match up to the accolades or to the awards or whatever ways you're being celebrated and honored. So it's important to make sure that you can own what's yours, right? And take pride in those things, and take also confidence in your preparation and your work, right? Your confidence should come from your preparation and your work, and then you should discard what's not yours to own, and that can actually get you a step closer.
Right, absolutely. So talk a little bit about, I know you're working with schools and different groups and organizations. Is there an age group that you're focused on?
Well, we work across the full pipeline, which I think is one of the things that makes us unique as a professional development organization.
Okay.
But of course, at different parts of the pipeline, you have different focuses.
Right.
So for middle school and high school, it's all about identity formation. So, the clay isn't quite, hard yet. So you want to mold that identity and form it in a way that prioritizes confidence and that takes pride in where someone comes from or what their experience is, right? How their family raised them, right? Where they're from. And then for adults, again, we work with executives well, I want to take a step back when I talk about adults. When we're talking about adults for coaching, it's all about the people who have been underserved, overlooked, the underdogs, right? So that could be a lead executive who feels like they deserve more prominence. Maybe they're big on the local level, but they believe they deserve prominence on the state or national level. And then it can even be an entry level worker who feels as though that they've been passed on for promotions or for raises or other things, or it could be someone who's in a career that they don't believe serves them and fits their purpose. So anyone who's playing small or feels as though they've been overlooked is the audience for Razor Sharp Coaching.
Wow, absolutely. So in the roughly 20 seconds we have left, can you share with the audience how they can reach you, your contact information, website, email address, any of those kinds of things?
Yes,
Social
sir.
media.
Thank you again for the opportunity. So Razor Sharp Global is where we're at. So razorsharpglobal.com is the website where you can book our services. Razor Sharp Global is Instagram. Razor Sharp Coaching on YouTube.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the honor.
That's a wrap.
Thank you so much.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
All right.